Do you believe that just one bowl of oats every morning could quietly pull your blood sugar down, soften your blood vessels, and even affect the skin on your face? If tomorrow you start eating oats every single day without changing anything else, what is the first thing that will actually change inside your body? Will you lose weight faster, or will you just feel fuller for longer and everything else stays the same? Or is there a completely different chain of reactions happening in your blood, your gut, and your heart that most people have no idea about? The interesting thing is, for most people, oats are just a healthy food to have, not something powerful enough to change the numbers on their blood tests or the way they feel energy throughout the day. But from the very first bowl, the special fiber in oats is already interfering with how your body handles sugar, fat, and cholesterol in a very different way compared to white bread or fried foods. What happens next doesn't create any kind of dramatic explosion you can feel right away, but it builds up day after day, like quietly adjusting the direction of a huge ship by just a few degrees. And if you keep this small habit long enough, your body will respond with changes you probably never expected. When you repeat this every morning, day after day, your body starts to reset its internal habits. Your liver has to pull more cholesterol out of your blood to make new bile, because part of the old bile has been trapped by the fiber from oats and carried out of your body. That means your LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol that easily sticks to artery walls, tends to slowly go down over time. Meanwhile, your blood vessels are less exposed to sharp spikes in blood sugar after meals, so the vessel walls are less irritated and less quietly inflamed. It's like changing the oil in an engine every day with cleaner, less sludgy oil. The sound doesn't change much in the first week or two, but the long-term durability is completely different. On a very practical level, the first thing you notice may not be on a lab report, but in how full you feel. A serving of oats gives you quite a lot of fiber and protein for the amount of calories, so your stomach is filled with a thick mixture, not just fast-absorbing sugar. Receptors in the gut wall send signals to your brain, telling it that you've had enough, and over time, those mid-morning cravings start to show up less often. You notice you no longer have to rush to the coffee shop for an extra pastry, and you don't feel that sudden energy crash just a few hours after breakfast anymore. That's why so many people find it easier to control their total calorie intake just by switching their breakfast to oats, even when they're not consciously trying to diet. But what most people don't realize is that this bowl of oats doesn't just affect your weight. It quietly influences your skin as well. When your blood sugar is more stable, insulin doesn't have to dance around so wildly, and the overall level of inflammation in your body tends to go down. Your skin is one of the organs that reacts very sensitively to inflammation and hormonal swings. So, over time, these small internal changes can show up on the surface. It's not some dramatic transformation after a week, but a subtle difference that's hard to describe. Less puffiness, fewer flare-ups of acne linked to meals loaded with refined sugar. What you see in the mirror is really just a delayed translation of tiny shifts that are happening after every bowl of oats. As you keep this habit longer, another system starts to change too: your gut. The soluble fiber in oats doesn't just form a gel and disappear. It also becomes food for certain friendly bacteria in your colon. They ferment this fiber and produce short-chain fatty acids, tiny molecules with a big impact on your gut lining and your immune responses throughout the body. Over time, your gut microbiome can shift slightly toward a more balanced state, less dominated by bacteria that thrive on quick sugars and saturated fats. You might only notice this through very ordinary signs: a calmer belly, less bloating, and bowel movements that become more regular and easier. At the same time, your nervous system is also reading the new signals from this oat habit. When blood sugar rises and falls more gently, Your brain doesn't have to constantly deal with sharp highs and deep crashes in energy. That wired, excited feeling right after eating something very sugary, followed by exhaustion a few hours later, starts to happen less often. Instead, your energy line becomes more stable, helping you focus better in the morning and feel less randomly irritable. You might not consciously think this is because of the oats, but your nervous system is already registering a new rhythm, steadier, more predictable. Inside every spoonful of oats, there is another quiet detail: minerals. Oats contain manganese, magnesium, iron, zinc, and some B vitamins, all of which take part in hundreds of enzyme reactions in your body every day. When your breakfast shifts from ultra-processed foods that are low in micronutrients to something more nutrient-dense, you're steadily supplying the tiny raw materials your cells need to produce energy, repair, and regenerate. This doesn't create any instant fireworks, but it's like consistently delivering enough building materials to a construction site every single day. Small flaws and tiny worn-out spots get fixed before they grow into real problems. A stronger, healthier body doesn't just come from the big things you do, but also from the small deficiencies you no longer allow to drag on. Of course, every story has a side that people rarely mention. Not everyone reacts the same way to eating oats every day. Some people might feel digestive discomfort if they increase their fiber intake too quickly, or if they're already sensitive to certain components in grains. A bowl of oats loaded with sugar, syrup, and ultra-sweet toppings sends a very different message to your body than oats combined with fruit, nuts, and healthy fats. It's all still called eating oats, but the way you turn it into a daily habit determines whether your body receives it as a gentle medicine or just another version of a sugar-heavy breakfast. Then at some point, usually after a few weeks or a few months, all these scattered changes start to connect into a clearer picture. You notice it's easier to maintain your weight. Your waistline feels less tight, and your cholesterol or blood sugar numbers may begin to drift toward more comfortable ranges. You find yourself craving explosive, sugary foods less often, depending less on coffee to drag your energy up, and that heavy post-breakfast feeling slowly fades away. All of this comes from a decision that seems trivial. Instead of eating the way you always have, you choose a simple, consistent meal that repeats day after day. But the story still doesn't end there, because there is yet another system in your body reacting slowly and deeply to every bowl of oats you eat. When you look a bit deeper into your blood vessels, the story with oats becomes much clearer. Every day, the soluble fiber from oats holds on to a little more cholesterol and bile, carrying them out of your body through your stool, instead of letting them return to circulation. Your liver is forced to use more of the cholesterol floating in your blood to make up for what's been lost, like a warehouse having to pull more stock off the shelves to refill the display. This process is quiet, but if it keeps happening week after week, your bad cholesterol tends to go down, and the inner surface of your arteries is less exposed to sticky fat particles. Over the long term, that's one way your body silently reduces part of the strain on your cardiovascular system, all from a breakfast that looks totally harmless. Your heart is also one of the quiet beneficiaries of this habit. When your blood fats and blood sugar are more stable, the heart doesn't have to work as hard to push through thicker blood or cope with higher pressure. Your heartbeat gets to live in a calmer environment with fewer violent waves after heavy, greasy meals. Each time you choose oats instead of a breakfast loaded with saturated fat, you're sending your heart a gentle message. Today, your job will be a little easier. It's not magic. It's a series of small decisions that constantly create a different environment for your heart. But the story doesn't stop at the heart and blood vessels. Your immune system is also listening to signals from the gut, where oats act like a steady stream of letters arriving every day. When beneficial bacteria in your gut are better nourished, the intestinal lining maintains a stronger structure, like a security fence that's regularly maintained. That helps reduce the chance of unwanted molecules slipping through that barrier and triggering unnecessary inflammatory responses. Many people only notice the result as a feeling: fewer days of vague fatigue, fewer inexplicable, sluggish days with no clear cause, while inside, the immune system is operating in a more orderly environment. Even so, eating oats every day doesn't make you immortal or immune to all health problems. It's just one part of a much bigger picture where movement, sleep, stress levels, and your overall diet still play central roles. If every bowl of oats comes with sugary drinks, fast food, and long hours of sitting still, your body will receive mixed signals. In that case, the benefits of oats are still there, but they're like a stream of clean water flowing into a river that's still being polluted nonstop. The real power of this small habit only shows clearly when it stands on the same side as your other choices for your body. So the most important thing isn't whether you eat oats or not, but how you place them in your daily life. If you see them as a tool to punish yourself for rapid weight loss, you'll give up easily when you don't see fast results. But if you see them as a simple, stable, foundational habit that nourishes your body from the inside little by little, you'll find it easier to stick with it without forcing yourself. Every morning, when you choose your bowl of oats, you're sending your body a clear signal. You value stability and sustainability more than short-lived bursts. And after a long enough time, your body will answer you through the way it operates, quietly but unmistakably. Once you understand what's happening inside your body, the next question is always, so what's the right way to eat it? Interestingly, your body doesn't just react to the oat grain itself, but to everything you put together with it. A bowl of oats soaked in sugar, syrup, and heavy cream sends a completely different message than oats cooked with water, milk, fresh fruit, and a handful of nuts. It's all called eating oats, but one version keeps your blood sugar smooth and your blood vessels relaxed, while the other throws you back into the cycle of refined sugar and wild energy swings. Your body doesn't care about the label of the dish. It only hears the overall nutritional signal. One common mistake is increasing your oat intake too quickly, hoping your body will change overnight. When that happens, your digestive system has to deal with a much larger amount of fiber than usual, and the natural response can be bloating, discomfort, and heaviness. That doesn't necessarily mean oats don't suit you. Sometimes your body simply needs time to adjust to a new rhythm. Starting with a moderate portion and then slowly increasing it is how you give your intestines, gut bacteria, and entire digestive system time to adapt. Just like building endurance, you don't suddenly run a very long distance on day one. You let your body gradually get used to the new route. Not all types of oats create the same feeling or response either. Whole oats, steel-cut oats, or rolled oats that are minimally processed usually retain more fiber and structure, forcing your body to work longer to digest them and helping your blood sugar rise more slowly. Instant oats with added sugar and flavorings are convenient, but you trade that convenience for faster absorption and a stronger impact on blood sugar. If your goal is to get the most internal benefit, how you choose and prepare your oats matters just as much as eating them every day. A small change in the product you choose can make a big difference in how your body reacts. In the end, the scariest thing isn't that you don't eat oats. It's believing that small habits aren't powerful enough to change your body. The human body is designed to respond more to repeated signals, even small ones, than to short-term shocks that disappear quickly. One bowl of oats every morning won't transform your life in a week, but it can slowly shift the trajectory of your health in a different direction over months and years. And when you look back, you might realize that what truly made the difference wasn't a single, life-changing decision, but that ordinary, repetitive breakfast you chose for yourself every day. To wrap this journey up properly, think about what your body actually needs from a breakfast habit. It's not miracle foods that promise to change everything in a few days, but something stable, easy to maintain, and quietly supportive from the inside. Oats, with their special fiber and balanced minerals, can become the foundation for a long day of steady energy, with fewer sudden crashes. You don't need to turn it into a complicated ritual. Just keep it simple. Combine it with fresh fruit, nuts, and a bit of natural protein. Over time, your body will register the difference, not through dramatic changes, but through a deeper sense of steady, sustainable health. Now, if you decide to give it a try, start with simple recipes that keep things interesting without sacrificing the core benefits. One option is oats cooked with almond milk, topped with fresh banana slices and a spoonful of natural peanut butter. A mix that keeps you full for a long time, with sweetness coming from fruit instead of refined sugar. Or you can try overnight oats soaked with unsweetened yogurt, blueberries, and some chia seeds ready in the fridge for busy mornings. These methods keep the beta-glucan gel working at its best while adding flavors that make you look forward to breakfast instead of seeing it as a chore. Your body will thank you by running more smoothly, from your gut to your skin and your energy all day long. Another variation worth trying is baked apple pie-style oats with fresh chopped apples, cinnamon, and a bit of raw honey. Cooked slowly on the stove until it thickens, it becomes a warm, comforting dish that feels familiar yet is still rich in fiber and antioxidants. Recipes like this don't just keep you full until lunch. They also feed your gut bacteria with natural prebiotics from oats and fruit. Gradually, you may notice a clear difference. Fewer snack cravings, easier weight control, and an overall feeling that your body is lighter, even though your schedule hasn't changed. That's the power of simple repetition. And finally, remember that health is not a destination reached through one grand decision, but through thousands of small choices you accumulate every day. Starting your mornings with oats can be the first step that leads you toward bigger changes, like paying more attention to vegetables, moving more regularly, or protecting your sleep. Your body doesn't forget the good signals you send it, and it will respond with resilience and vitality that you can feel week after week. If you're ready, try it tomorrow and watch what happens inside. Not with a mindset of chasing miracles, but with genuine curiosity about your own real journey. Thank you for staying with me until the end.